Greetings and welcome to the time and space that you're in. My name is Alyssa. Um, I record from wherever I am, and I live on a reasonably remote island in the Pacific Northwest, and I happen to be house sitting today. I'm house sitting for one of my teachers, who's a Qigong teacher. So I'm in this different sort of space, but there's always a little bit of something to be said for a dog running in and out, or an alarm going off that I wasn't expecting, or something like that. So, um, one of the things with these offerings is that there's a desire. I actually went to art school, so I have a great desire to sort of perfect the offering and make it something that is um, very pointed as its intention to be a tool for you. One of the things I also want to offer as a teacher is just being human, that you're in your space. I think it can be good sometimes to put on a pretense, a little bit of character, a little bit of seriousness about our practice, but we live in the real world, and the adaptability of it has become important. So that's kind of the importance of bringing this up for these videos. So do what you need to do. You might need to stop the video and rewind and do something again. You might find that the first 10 minutes of class are the 10 minutes that you need. You could repeat that 10 minutes for as long as you'd like. Um, the work here is mostly to breathe and pay attention to how things are. We cultivate strength, mobility, agility in the body over time and space, and paying attention. And yoga offers us a lot of different sort of range of motion and also actions, right? Often we don't talk about the pressing, the gliding, the sliding, the pulling, etc. So on the floating, there's a lot of verb to play with. So notice how it is you're practicing what you're practicing. And this is, in fact, an asana practice. We move through physical postures, but we're always trying to practice paying attention to how things really are, waking up from conditioned existence. And that really takes compassion. Honestly, compassion is the great space maker. So as you reflect and pay attention from sort of an introversion point of view to how things feel, you could also just consider that the again and againness of the practice is what we're doing. And not so much necessarily the repetition of the same posture, but you inhale and exhale again. Um, and we sort of do that with our postures too. We extend and contract along with our breath. So as long as you're breathing and paying attention, you're doing the practice. So you could wobble, shake, fall. You could lack grace. You could be far away from the agility you might imagine in the eye of your mind. And you're still doing it. It's process oriented. So pay attention and let process be of interest to you, right? You're developing, as it were, and practicing that for our compassion, right? Making space for that sort of work. All right. I'm going to slide back to my mat. You can really start in any position you like. I'm going to start in a seat today. You might have props around and sit up on the edge of something. You could sit cross-legged, take your legs out. You could sit with your knees folded underneath. You could sit up in a chair, choose to stand, etc. You could begin in child's pose. And offer that we begin with uniting 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om, a secular chant to acknowledge the interconnection between all things, to warm up the breathing apparatus of the body. So you could close your eyes or look at one spot, rest your hands in relative neutral. Erect the curves of your spine by letting your tail stick out behind you and the chest bone, your sternum lift up. You could tuck your chin a little, roll your shoulders down and back a little. Try not to be too perfect, right? If you have to constantly manage toward perfection, you might miss how things really are. So consider that, especially as that has been a good adaptational tool for many of us inside of capitalism. So as you wake up and pay attention, remember there isn't something you have to do, right? It's already happening. You're already practicing. To clear and prepare the energetic channel of the body, take a deep inhale in through your nose. And open your mouth to exhale. Inhale, prepare for Om. Begin to breathe in ujjayi form in and out through your nose. Long and slow. Smooth and deep. Let your rib cage and back expand three-dimensionally. Maybe your belly and your chest. We practice Krama Vinyasa, riding the wave of the breath. And inhale, flutter your eyes open. Exhale to tune into what's around you. Inhale your arms out and up. Exhale your hands through the center. Again, inhale, arms out and up. Maybe take them a little further back. You can gaze up if your neck allows, and exhale. One more time. And exhale. Bring your hands to the earth in front of you. Come forward. I'm going to do a hands and knees position. You could also choose to do this from a seat. And cow cat, tilt the spine. Inhale, cow pose. Lift your chin and tail. Exhale, cat. Tuck your chin, round your spine, dome your shoulders. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Continue with your breath. You might notice sometimes sliding your hands a little more back or forward, out, right, and left, or in closer to the center line can change very much what part of you it feels like originates this pose. This undulating of the spine really mimics a lot of the work that we do. Inhaling out and up and exhaling down and in. Inhale to extension or back bending, and exhaling to rounding of the spine. You might play around with pushing forward and back through your hands in each action. Also pressing out or in. And you can do the same thing with your legs, your shin flesh on the mat. And sometimes it's good to let ourselves go with our natural fluid tendencies to shift back and forth or rock side to side. Sometimes it becomes a little more free form for us. There's a feeling of what you know you need to stretch already. I want to encourage that kind of work. Right? A lot of this work of independent study, even inside of community, gives us the ability to self-assess and therefore to have self-sovereignty. Right? And that's really what I mean by repetition. Anytime you're not paying attention, you're just repeating or just doing as I dictate, you might return again to how things really are. Practice breathing. And the next time you inhale into the cow shape, curl your toes under, lift your knees and hips up and back, and exhale towards down dog. You might bend right knee, left knee as you breathe. It's like an upside down V with your tail at the top, hands, feet at the bottom. Again, you could assess the structure. Sometimes you could have a closer, longer, shorter, wider down dog. You want to find what feels structurally stable, and that might change throughout the practice. We're made of curves and arches, not straight lines and angles. So instead of trying to make anything line up straight, you might think about the arches of your feet, the heels of your feet foundationally, the arches of your hands, the heels of your hands and thumbs. Relax your neck and face and jaw whenever you can. In yoga, often we practice toning certain areas of the body to support these full body functions. In this case, you might tone the low belly, draw the navel up and back, like you do at the bottom of an exhale, nothing extreme. Gather the floor of the pelvis up. Same deal. If you breathe real deeply, you might feel that. You might also be accustomed to the idea of kegels or pelvic floor strengthening. Inhale out into a plank, and exhale your knees to the mat. Bend your elbows in and back, lower your chest to the mat, chin to the mat. That's difficult. You can slide more forward, walk your hands more out. Inhale to pull your belly forward onto the earth, Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana, tops of your feet down, lift your heart up. Exhale towards Child's Pose, come up through table or through cow. Sink your hips towards your heels. You have your knees together or wide. You might have your arms out long or support your head with your hands or fists. Take a deep inhale into your back. Open mouth, exhale, HA sound. Take your arms out long, ujjayi, inhale, pull yourself forward, tabletop. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow, curl your toes under. Lift your knees up and back, hips up and back. Exhale. Downward dog, you might drive your heels down. Inhale to take your right leg up and back, one-footed dog. You can also do this from the hands and knees position. I'll give you an equitable point of view. Exhale to open your hip and bend your knee. Roll your ankle around a couple of times. We call this scorpion sometimes. That tail up and back. Inhale, reach your right leg high and long. Exhale, bring your knee towards your nose and down dog. Keep your shoulders where they are. Tuck your chin, round your spine. Inhale, one-footed dog. Reach it up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Try not to go to plank just yet. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Put your right knee down. We're going to come into side plank, so turn your right foot out to the right behind you. Roll to the inside edge of your left foot, and inhale, take your left arm up. From here, you might lift your left foot off the ground and gaze up. Take another big free inhale. On your exhale, bend your top left knee and just feel around behind you a little. Right, where's the floor? Perhaps you can find the ground. You might have to turn your right foot further, turn your right hip further out to land your left foot, and inhale to reach your left arm up and back. Extend like a backward bend. And slowly take an inhale, and on the exhale, gather. You might bring your right elbow, or your left elbow, towards your left knee. You might be able to put your left hand down and turn your right foot back. Inhale to reach your left foot back, that one-footed table position. And this time, exhale your left knee into your chest, round your spine. Inhale, reach it back. Exhale. Step your left foot forward. You might be in this little lunge with your left foot in the front. Climb up or rise up over to stance. Now, intentionally, you might set up your right hip over your right knee. If you have a tendency to sort of turn your foot in and out, you might take the time to set it up. Nothing extreme, but it's just a training of the strength of your ankle to be in that lateral shape. Take your right arm up, inhale, stretch up, and exhale, backward bend. Right now, as you do this, tuck your tail and draw your navel in. So we're really isolating the upper body. You could have your left hand on your left knee as sort of a way to lean back from something. Cup the palm of your hand around it. Imagine your right knee, shin, top of foot, and your left heel digging down and dragging in diagonally towards one another. Take another inhale, reach up, reach back, and exhale, release. Bring your right hand down, and inhale, twist to the left. So it might be a bit of a tight twist. You're always welcome to walk your left foot out and turn your left hip out. Your pelvis will turn and twist, as will your lower back. Nothing is square about it, but you might be squaring, trying to lift your right hip up, your left hip down, left hip forward, right hip forward, left hip back, etc. Trying to find an equitable pelvis, even though your thigh bones are doing different stuff. Exhale when you can, your left hand down. Inhale your left knee out and back. And exhale. Tabletop, inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow pose, curl your toes under. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale to lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, open your hip and bend your knee. No worry so much about where the range of motion is. Always feel free to move around, really working into the iliopsoas, which can be quite tight. Long muscle from the lower back down to the femur bone. It mirrors the muscle up and out of the body. It mirrors and holds relationship to the base of your diaphragm, your breathing muscle. Inhale to take your left leg high and long and down dog, and exhale your knee towards your nose. They might not get to each other. Heel towards the glute. Tuck your chin, press in your hands. Inhale, reach your left leg back. Exhale your knee to your nose. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale, round it in. And put your left knee down on the mat and turn your left foot out to the left. Bring your left hand down and inhale your right arm up. You might lift your right leg up. Now play around with where things are kind of turned in or turned out, how high or low, how sort of long or short on each side of the waistband you'd like to be, how much weight is in your hand versus the top of your shin. We tend to move right with what is intentional or what is unintentional, what we just do naturally. Even that is our nature is learned over time, right? Often patterns we don't even mean to pick up, some scars, pathways in our fate that don't need to be there. As we seek efficiency through paying attention, notice what you do right away. And is that the choice you want to make? And exhale, when you can, start to bend your right knee and feel your right foot back behind you until you can land it on the earth. And you might have to turn and pivot through your left hip. Inhale your right arm up and back. Hang your head back. When you spend time outside, this time of year in the part of the world I live in, you see the moon during the day and the night, and it's here. When the days are clear, that is. And they're very noticeable for that reason because there's so few clear days. Take another inhale and exhale. Bring your right elbow and your right knee towards one another. You might be able to look down and reach straight down with your right hand. You can turn, right? Take the time to organize. It doesn't always end up graceful. Inhale to take your right leg back and exhale your knee to your nose. Tuck your chin, dome your shoulders. Inhale to reach it back. Exhale to round. Inhale to reach. Exhale your knee into your chest and step your right foot forward into that little itty bitty lunge. And we're going to take a little bit of time right in this low space right, to find twisting. So plant your right hand down, right arm up, left hand down. I'll get there. And twist to the right. Now again, you might have taken the time to set it up already. Sometimes shorter stance, especially if you're very flexible of hip, so you feel like you have more to contain you. That limit is on purpose. You know, especially if you can always go to the greatest extension, it can be good to back up like 15% and rework there at the edges. Good. Take another inhale and exhale to release. Climb up onto your right knee thigh. Rise up. And take your left arm up in the inhale. Exhale by exhale, backward bend. And again, you might grab a hold of your right knee, cupping it in your right hand. You'll have to keep your right heel heavy. Sometimes these physics experiments can be super frustrating, so hard to find foundation. Keep ideating, imagining, feeling into your lower body, especially if it feels like a mystery, like you're clambering around in a dark room for the light switch. I encourage you to keep clambering. If you need me to turn the light on, let me know. Otherwise, remember that you will be in the process of turning on this light until you're in the process of turning on the next one. Good. Take another inhale to draw up and exhale to release. 2 hands down. Press down in your hands to lift your right foot up. Inhale to reach it back. Exhale to the tabletop shape. All right, inhale your right arm up, reach up, twist to the right. And exhale, thread it underneath and behind your left wrist. Come down to your shoulder, ear, or jaw. You can always use a bolster, create a landing pad. You can always use your left hand out or up for pressure. Sometimes we don't have to turn more. We can kind of face the earth and create compression or pressure on the upper arm. Especially if you do upper body work. You might find that just squishing your deltoid is helpful. And press your left hand down and inhale your right arm up. Exhale, 2 hands to the earth. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, bend your elbows, offer your chest and chin towards the earth. Inhale, cow, press up. Exhale, cat. Coming through neutral, inhale to reach your left arm up, gazing up, twist to the left. Exhale, thread it underneath and behind your right wrist. Come down to shoulder, ear, perhaps jaw. If you feel like your head is getting involved, like you're kind of controlling action by pushing your head into the ground and manipulating your neck or shoulders, perhaps you could find a way to let that go, or start to. You tend to be very head dominant, which integrates into neck and jaw tension for a lot of folks. Consider that pressing and pushing too aggressively into the areas that are already tight will just tighten them more. Just like when you unknot a rope or try to take the tangle out of a gold chain. Return your right hand to the earth and inhale your left arm out and then up. Exhale to table. Inhale, cow pose, curl your toes. Lift your knees and hips up and back. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale to your tippy toes and exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, try to bring your ribs back and your tail up so you're extending your backward bend. And exhale to drive your heels towards the earth. Try to keep your tail high. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees with your heels high. Inhale, tail up, heart back. Press into your thumbs as you exhale to drive your heels down. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Take a big free inhale. And exhale your way to the top of the mat. You might float, you might spring. I'm going to tiptoe my way up. Hang in forward fold. You might grab for your elbows. If you ever get vertigo or have inner ear issues, totally okay to be by a wall or piece of furniture and hold it with your hands. Do your best to try to let your neck go. You might think of the sacrum, the back of the pelvis or tail, and the back of the head as partners. They counterbalance each other like children spinning in a circle, holding hands, leaning back. If you can let your head really go, and you'll have to teach your lower body that way to manage your upper body's weight fully without your neck managing some of it, your shoulders managing some of it. You might notice if your weight is in your heels or your toes. You can always bend your knees more deeply, turn your thigh bones out more. Exhale to release your arms to hang. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart from your middle back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding. One more time, follow your own round of breathing. Out and up. And down and in. Choose your feet for sun salutations. You might keep your feet hips distance. You might draw them together. We'll do 3 of them. Bend your knees, hang your head, roll up to standing over a few breaths. Notice the backs of your legs, your hamstrings have to shorten. Pull your spine up. When you get to the top, you might roll your shoulders down your back. Sit your head in relative neutral. Samastiti same on all sides. Like you're standing at the center of the equilibrium of all things. North, south, east, west. Spinning planet, revolving universe means constantly orbiting and trying to settle the orbit down like a spinning top. It spins so fast or spins so in plumb, and eventually it just stays there and you don't hear it skip on the table anymore. Notice here in that plumb line that you can breathe, the cloud of your breath underneath your diaphragm rising in the same sort of architecture as a large mushroom growing. And as you exhale, your diaphragm presses upward right into your lungs to press them out. This downward action, we mimic and utilize the root. The mula bandha, the floor of the pelvis, gathers up as the feet and the diaphragm press down. Compression in the lower belly, the abdominals presses back into our low spine for support and extension. Now that I've explained that a little bit too thoroughly, let's Extend the spine a bunch in Surya Namaskara A. Inhale your arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up, maybe gaze up if your neck allows. The arms up pose, exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana, the extension from center pose, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga to the earth, plant your hands, step your feet back from your knees or toes, lower all the way down. Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Inhale, pull your heart forward and up, press through the tops of your feet. Exhale to bring your chin or forehead down and curl your toes. Inhale through plank or table. Exhale, back to shat, downward facing dog pose, in and out through your nose. Next cycle, exhaling to step or float forward, arrive on the soles of your feet at the top of your space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. You can always keep your knees quite bent. Strong legs, inhale. Urdhva Hastasana, out and up, reaching upward. Exhale, Samasthiti. Again, inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, unroll, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward dog, pull your heart through, press the tops of your feet down. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Hang your head, press into your thumbs. And play around with turning your arm bones out, widening your hands if you wish. And often there's a lot of ways that have been sort of dictated to us. And if you love them, if they feel like they work, don't let me take them from you. And I suggest you try a bunch of different settings. Sort of figure out what is most structural for you, what different settings accomplish for you. Breathe. And then your next exhale, step or float forward, arrive on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale. Neutral standing pose. Last one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold by rotating through your pelvis. Stick out your tail. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Step or lightly float back. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog, strong legs. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose, breathe. Exhale, step or float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Now we're going to work on standing balancing. And I pause to speak about that because I don't love practicing balancing. I often, when making my own practice, just kind of unintentionally skip it. I think it can be really hard to work on balance, especially because we often just fall and fall at certain thresholds. So I want to say that because maybe you want to walk to a wall and use it. And mostly just utilize this work on balance as like a little game you're playing. You're just figuring out between the poles of the earth, sort of how to stand in gravity. Right? And you have all of these natural faculties, right, that you're just training and asking to come to play. Keep listening for them, keep encouraging them. They will show up, and let yourself have a little bit of lightness of heart where you can. All right. So start by standing on your left foot. And inhale to bend your right knee. Lift your right thigh up, parallel to the earth. Cool. In your exhale, soften your left knee. Begin to step your right foot back. Land on the ball of your right foot. High lunge. Make sure you shifted weight forward and down into your left heel. You're high on the ball of your back foot. You might need more or less space. Strong and straightening through your back leg. Or your tailbone down, and inhale to reach your arms out and up if they're not already there. Good, and exhale, release your hands to the earth. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take your left leg up and back. Exhale, open up your hip and bend your knee. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale your knee toward your nose. This time bring your shoulders forward over your wrist like plank. Inhale, one-footed dog, reach. Exhale your knee to your nose. And again, you could always bring your back knee down too. That's a little bit different. Inhale, reach your left leg up and back. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Feel free to grab it. Scooch it on up right back to where it was. Inhale like cow lunge. Let your back knee dip, your spine bend, pull your heart up. Exhale towards cat lunge, straightening both legs to some degree. Round your spine and tuck your chin. Inhale to cow lunge. And exhale to cat. Inhale, bend your left knee, low lunge. And take an exhale to stand in your left foot. All right. Inhale to rise up. Take both arms up. All right, this is where our pivot goes. We're going to exhale into warrior two. Your right foot is going to become the front foot of the pose. So take your right hand and reach it forward, down and back, and see if you can follow your pinky finger as you turn on the ball of your right foot. Your left foot in a little. Bend your right knee. Take your right arm out. Now you might have to adjust or find your way onto your mat. Keep your heels striking the earth. Drop your shoulder blades down. Reach your middle fingers away from one another on one angle. Inhale to reverse the warrior. Take your right arm up and back and slide your left hand down your back leg. Stay low in the lunge if it's available to you. Anchor your tail. Squeezing your right outer hip might help you turn your right thigh bone out. Inhale, straighten your right leg and keep reaching back. Turn your right toes in. Exhale to make a broad swoop into a wide-footed forward fold. Hands towards the earth. Inhale and roll, halfway lift style. You might stay right here and work on strengthening your legs, plugging your heels down, straightening to some degree. You can exhale to fold by pressing against the earth. Breath by breath. Inhale and roll, halfway lift style. Exhale your way to your right foot. Turn into a long low lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Dip your back knee, pull your heart forward, out and up. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening. Round in, inhale. Cow lunge, look forward. Exhale, step your left foot up to meet your right foot. forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Bend your knees for Utkatasana, the fierce pose. It's a squat. Sink your hips down and back. And always do this with your feet at hips distance if that frees up your knees. Take your arms out, forward or up. Gaze up if your neck allows. A backward bend. Breathe. Rock your weight back, your kneecaps back. In your next inhale, begin to straighten your legs and stand up. And exhale. Samasthiti. All right, stand on your right foot. Bend your left knee. Inhale your left thigh up parallel to the earth. Now even here you might figure out, right? What do you do with your hips? Right? Think about the bowl of your pelvis holding water. How does it need to be tilted to be upright as opposed to squaring? Any of these lovely things. And always use your arms out or up, or hands on your hips to give you stability. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, begin to bend into your right knee. Step your left foot back into a long lunging stance. Once you've found stability, you can also work from right to left, wider or more narrow, and see how that gives you stability as well. It's different from body to body, so I encourage you to be experimental. Inhale your arms out and up, reaching up. Exhaling by exhaling, settle down into your front heel. A little bit of this hatha element of staying for time and seeing the polarity in things. And take another big free inhale and exhale your hands to the earth. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take your right leg up and back. And exhale, open your hip up, bend your knee for the scorpion action. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale your knee to your nose, your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach it back. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Grab it and draw it up. Inhale to rise up. We're going to exhale into warrior two to the left. So start by turning to the left. Let your left thigh bone turn out. You might turn your right toes in. You've turned your left leg all the way out. Bend your left knee. Remember, it can be a lot to coordinate, sort of turning and rotating in these ways. Be kind to yourself as you go. We'll spend some breaths in warrior two, which wherever you set it is enough, right? Some of us will have less bend in the front knee, maybe a shorter stance. Some of us will choose long. Sometimes more rotated out or in on one leg or the other feels best. Stick your tail out, puff out your chest, reach out through your arms. Flip your left palm up. Inhale to reverse your warrior, out, up, and back. You might take a few exhales to settle into your left heel. If ever looking up is not for your neck, it's always okay to hang your head if that feels better. Sometimes we allow release in those nitty-gritties up there. Inhale, straighten your left leg and keep reaching back. Exhale, turn your left toes in. Make a broad circle into the wide-footed forward fold. Inhale like a halfway lift. Perhaps as you do, you'll bring your hands to your hips and exhale, forward fold. Now, if safety or prudency says, oh, it's way better with my hands on the ground, please do that. Otherwise, use your hands to help you to remind to tilt your pelvis, rotate through your body. Breathe into your back and side ribs. You might roll your elbows back and down or towards one another behind you. Inhale and roll, half lift style. Exhale, low lunge towards your left foot. Walk your way around towards it. Spin up on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, cow lunge. Tip your hip, pull your heart forward. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening. Inhale, cow lunge, look forward. With one or many steps, exhale your right foot up to meet your left and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale your arms out, forward or up. Exhale to sink back and down in your pelvis. Inhale, press your heels down, stand up, reaching up through Urdhva Hastasana, the arms that pose. And exhale to Samasthiti, stand in neutral. All right, I'm going to move through this a bit of balance, and we'll, add and omit things, but take your time. And remember, always just repeat that version of it as many times as you would like inside of this guidance or inside of your own time. Stand on your left foot. Inhale to bend your right knee and lift your right thigh up. This time, I'm going to turn to face you for a moment. And on the exhale, you could turn your leg out and come into Vrikshasana, the tree pose, or perhaps you have a practice of the folded half lotus. You take your arms out or up. All right, wherever you got your leg, you'd use a hand to release it. And slide your right ankle right above your left knee and bend your left knee like figure four. Stick your tail out, rock your weight back and down. Again, arms might be out. Use your middle back to try to lift your heart up. Backward bend gets you there. You might even take your arms straight up and gaze up overhead. Back to that first position, straighten your left knee. Inhale your right leg up. And exhale, slow through Bhujangasana, the airplane pose. Tilt on your left hip. Send your right leg back, straightening. As your heart comes down and your arms go up, remember that straightening is the thing. We don't want to be stringent. Exhale to standing L or split, one-footed forward fold toward your left leg. Kick your right leg up. Inhale. Exhale to bend your left knee and step your right foot way back. Long low lunge. Inhale to rise, high lunge. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, one-footed dog, left leg high. Exhale, scorpion, open your hip, bend your knee. Now you might drop your right knee down, turn your foot out, and turn to that position we worked on earlier. You might flip your dog around. You might hang in scorpion. You don't have to flip anything. Take an inhale. Exhale, make your way back to the one-footed dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale your left foot between your hands or in that direction. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, side body bend to the left. You could grab your right wrist with your left hand as you tilt. Settle your pelvis low. Inhale back through center. Exhale to warrior two to the right foot. Turn yourself all the way around. Bend your right knee. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, side angle pose. You might bring your elbow to your knee, your left arm straight up. You bring your arm down on the inside edge. You could also take your left arm straight over. That's classic. Now you could also work with your right arm on the outside of your leg, pressing your leg out from a more concentric place. Inhale, reverse. Reach up and back with your right arm. Straighten your right leg and turn your right toes in, and exhale, wide-footed fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach for your outer legs or bind your peace sign fingers around your big toes. Bend your elbows straight out to the side and pull yourself in and down. Inhale, unroll, half lift style. Exhale, release your hands to the earth. Turn your heels in, your toes out. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, up into Kali Goddess, sometimes called horse pose. And rotating out, right, you decide sort of where the squat needs to live. It's okay to stick your tail out, your chest out. Inhale to reach your arms straight out. Exhale to settle your heels into the earth. Inhale, straighten your legs, reach your arms out and up. Turn your feet back to parallel to one another. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale and roll, half lift style. Exhale, low lunge to the right. Right hand down, inhale, left arm up, twist. Gaze up if your neck allows. Lift your left hip up, press your right heel down. Take another inhale. And exhale, two hands to the earth. Step your back foot in a little bit. Land in your right heel. And inhale to kick the sky with your left leg, standing L or split. Inhale like a halfway lift, unroll your heart. I have some convenient furniture to help me stand up a little taller through my chest. You're welcome to climb your way up. Bhujangasana. With softness in your right standing knee, exhale to bend your left knee and draw it in. You might even grab it with your hands. Inhale to stand up, take your left knee with you. And exhale, 2 feet down. Good. Inhale, take your arms up, Urdhva. Exhale, cactus arm back bend, bend your elbows, drop your shoulders, lift the center of your chest. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Stand on your right foot. Inhale to lift your left knee up. Exhale to turn it out. Again, that might be sole foot to the inner leg. You can go down and be on your knee if you want to, be above or below. You really want your standing legs stable, the two things pressing into each other. You're rotating outward in that left thigh bone. Right? Same thing if you're working in the lotus. Just be mindful of your knee. You're always welcome to add or omit as you see fit. And release it as you need to with your hand. And exhale to draw your left ankle over your right knee. Sink your hip down and back. Take your arms out or up. Good. Inhale. Stand up back to that original position. Exhale, slow. Bhujangasana. Kick back through your left leg. Should be a bit familiar on this leg. Direction pose, airplane, weather vane. Exhale your hands to the earth. Inhale to kick your left leg up, standing L or split. Remember, it can be more of a banana split, right? See if you can correlate your right heel on the ground, your left heel reaching back out and away at whatever angle it happens to do so. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee. And slowly step your left foot way back into that long, low lunging shape. Inhale to rise up, reaching upward. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take your right leg up and back. Exhale, open the hip. And again, you might lower your left knee to turn out. You might flip it around. You gotta kind of organize rotating your left foot around. Take another inhale. And exhale to make your way back to the one-footed dog. Inhale to reach your right leg high and long, and exhale. Low lunge, step it forward. Good, inhale to rise up. Exhale, side body bend to the right. You might grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and tilt over. Inhale up through center. Exhale, warrior two to your left foot. Turn it all the way around. Take a bright inhale in. Exhale, side angle pose, Pashimottanasana. And things might be the same from side to side. You might make different choices. Make it a good on a standing pose. Make sure you're pressing into your feet. If you're using your upper body, right, that there's nominal leaning. Just support. Inhale up and back. Sweep your left arm up, reverse the warrior. Straighten your front leg. Turn your left toes in. Exhale. Sweep it around. You're going to the right as you find your way down to the wide-footed fold. Inhale. Halfway lift. And exhale, fold. You're welcome to take your hands behind your back. And you might bring the backs of your hands down and bend your elbows. You might turn your thumbs out, your pinkies in on your lower back. This is a way to work. You might even then think about pulling down, a little bit of laundry sounds here, into your lower back to fold yourself as you go. As you plug your heels down and stretch the crown of your head down breath by breath. You could also interweave your fingers and send your wrists forward and down if that's for you. Inhale like a halfway lift. Exhale, release your hands to the earth. Turn your heels in, your toes out, bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale to goddess. Exhale to settle low into your heels. And take a few breaths to assess. Are you tensing somewhere you don't need to? Sometimes economy of action is about doing less as opposed to doing more. In a society of stress, in a life and culture where it becomes normal to sort of like commodify ourselves, it can be hard to do less. Notice how it feels. Inhale, straighten your legs, press through your feet, reach your arms up, and your feet parallel, and exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift style, and exhale, low lunge to your left foot. Spin your right heel up, inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale your right hand down and inhale your left arm up. So naturally, right, the low back wants to twist, the pelvis drops in the same direction that we're twisting the heart, which is to the left. If you think about lifting your right hip up, kind of twisting your pelvis to the right as you twist your rib cage to the left, you might find the center of the body turns on. The less you can do with your neck and shoulders, the more your lower body will connect you to the center. Take another inhale and exhale, two hands down. Inhale like cow lunge, step your back foot forward. Exhale to stand on your heel. Inhale to the standing L or split. Kick your right leg up. And exhale by exhale, fold in and down. Inhale, unroll like a halfway lift. Take an exhale right there. Take your arms out, maybe one at a time. Think of back bending, lifting your foot and your head higher than your pelvis. Take an inhale Exhale, begin to gather your right knee into your chest, round your spine. Keep your left standing knee bent and pliable. You might grab your right knee with your hands. And inhale to stand up. Pull your right knee forward and up. Exhale, release your right foot down. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, cactus arm back bend. Pull your shoulder blades down. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Samasthiti. All right. Stand on your left leg. Inhale, bend your right knee. Exhale, figure four. Bend your left knee, sink your hips. Inhale your arms up. Exhale your arms back like airplane wings. Pinkies in, thumbs out, palms down to the earth. Inhale, stand up. Take your arms up. Take your right knee with you. And exhale, twist to the left. Bring your left arm forward and your right arm back. Start to take your right leg back. See if you can connect your right foot with your hand. You can hold this way on the inside edge with your thumb up, your palm in. You can hold the outside if you prefer. Inhale to stretch up. Exhale, Dhanurasana, standing bow pulling pose. Kick your right foot up and back. Reach your left arm forward. Let your rib cage twist to the right. Your pelvis turn to the left. Good. Inhale to stand up. Take your right arm up and your right knee forward. Exhale, Bhujangasana, airplane. Pick an exhale for standing split, arms down, right leg up. Pick an exhale, bend your left knee and step your right foot back. Inhale up, high lunge, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two to the right foot, turn it all the way around. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, side angle pose. And taking a bind. Perhaps that's for you here as well. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right arm up and back, straighten your right leg, turn your right toes in, and exhale to fold down. Inhale and roll, half lift style. Exhale to your right foot. This time, drop your left knee down. We're going to twist to the right. So I'm just going to turn myself so you can see this. You're welcome to walk your right foot forward. Also to walk it out to the right and turn your toes out to the right if you like. And stay on your left hand or come to the forearm. Inhale your right arm up. You might use your right hand instead to turn your right thigh out, to bend your left leg and reach for your foot. If you want to grab your foot and it seems far, right, being up on your hand or even up on your knee will get you closer. You could also choose to grab a t-shirt or a sock. Extend the length of your arm. Exhale to release your back foot. And if you're real wide from right to left, you might narrow it out a little bit and climb up onto your right knee thigh. Inhale to take your left arm up and exhale, side body bend over to the right. You take your right arm down to the earth or out to a wall, etc. Good. Inhale up through center. Maybe both arms up. And exhale, two hands down to frame your front foot. Inhale, half split. Make sure you feel like the back of your heel is catching something. And drive your right thigh back, your left thigh forward. Fold over your right leg, breath by breath. And you're welcome to slide a few inches further forward to test out your work, especially if you feel like your hands on the earth or props are very stable to catch you. If you're doing that, you might curl your back toes under and press the ball of your foot into the ground. And then you can press your right ball of foot forward as well as your heel and do the same with your opposite foot. All right, if you're extended, get a little closer. Bend into your right knee and plant your right foot. Curl your back toes and lift your left knee up off the earth. Exhale to bend your right knee and land in your right heel. Inhale, standing L or split, kick your leg up. Exhale your left knee into your chest. You might take your right hand and then your left hand to your left knee. Inhale to stand up and take your right leg with you. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva the arms up pose. Exhale, standing back bend, squeeze your glutes, anchor your tail, weight in your heels as you press your pelvis forward. Inhale your arms up. Exhale your arms by your sides. Stand on your right foot. Inhale to lift your left knee up. Exhale, cross your left ankle over your right knee, bend your knees, sink your hips, Pre-Galavasana or figure four. Inhale, take your arms to their position, out or maybe up. Take an exhale to rock your weight back into your heels. Sweep your arms back by your hips like airplane wings, Utkatasana on that exhale. Use an inhale to stand up, sweep your arms up, come back, lifting your left knee up. And exhale, slowly twist to the left. Bring your right arm forward. As you do this, you might have to think left knee forward, left hip forward as you twist. Start to take your left leg back as you go. Maybe you can grab for your foot. Again, a strap, a sock, etc. can loop around the foot and be held in the hand. Inhale, take your right arm up, and exhale, begin to kick through your left leg. Reach through your right arm and right shoulder. Done your asana, the standing bow pose. Inhale to stand up. You might take both arms up, your knee into your chest. Exhale through Bhujangasana. All the way to the standing L or split. Inhale. Exhale to step it back. Bend your right knee and land your left foot. Inhale to rise into the crescent lunging shape. And exhale all the way into the warrior two to your left leg. I do a lot of stuff with my arms. You're welcome to do whatever you like. Take an inhale. Exhale into the side angle posture. And again, we wrapped around on the opposite side. You might wrap again. Always just wrap one arm or the other. The full wrapping feels like a lot to begin with. Breathing in the ujjayi form. That means upward liberating breath in and out through your nose. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Reach out up and back. Straighten through your left leg. And exhale, turn your toes in as you reach down. Wide-footed folding. Inhale. Halfway lift style. Exhale. Walk your feet a little more away from one another. Side split. Samakonasana. You can stay on your hands or come to your forearms. You're welcome to rock your weight forward into your arms and work on pressing into the earth. You might inhale to stick your tail up and exhale to tuck, a little bit like cow and cat. Keep your feet strong on the earth. If you're going closer to the earth, continue to consider where it's reasonable. And there's no need to go anywhere beyond or behind, right? What is the best thing for you, right? That is to be said. Sometimes your range of motion asks you to go to a deep place, and nothing wrong with that either. Press into your arms and try to drag your feet back together, back towards that original position. Inhale and roll, half lift style. Exhale, walk your hands over to your left foot. Drop your right knee down. Bring your right hand or your right forearm down and inhale, twist to the left. Take your left arm up. You're welcome to bend your right knee and reach for your foot. Turning to twist. Good. Release your back foot and back through center. If you need to shift or adjust, also mention that if you're not on a carpet like I am, you might need to fold your mat over and pad your back knee anytime it's down, and that's just fine to do. Inhale to take your right arm up. And exhale, side body bend over to the left. Inhale back through center, maybe both arms up. Exhale, two hands down to frame your front foot, straighten your front leg. Now, it doesn't have to be all the way straight. In fact, you might bend your knee, especially if you have issues in the hamstring, at the back of the knee, or up at the insertion into the pelvis. Kick your heel down, keep your quad contracted as you drive your thigh bone back. And as you fold over your leg, see if you can press through your foot. So it's like when you stand, your leg is the foundation over which you stretch. If you slid forward or started to experiment with that, remember that splitting is very active, right? We're trying to find pressure forward and back the same way we do in that long lunge we've been practicing, high on the ball of the back foot. So you might curl the back toes under for that experiment. Make sure your hands help you. And if you're down on the ground, right, you happen to be, think about what it's like to press down with what's down, especially in your feet. And start to bring yourself back, exhaling to bend your left knee and planting your foot. Curl your back toes under and lift your back knee up. Take an inhale to gaze forward like cow lunge. Exhale to stand on your left heel. Inhale, standing L or split, kick your right leg up. And take as many breaths as you need to do these actions. I'm just guiding basic large actions with the breath. Exhale to bring your right knee into your chest. You might bring left hand to your right knee, right hand. Slowly stand yourself up. And exhale, 2 feet down. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, cactus the arms. See if you can think about drawing them wide away from one another, elbow to elbow. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to do a little work lifting our heels off the ground. Right, so to do this, you might just take it slow, one heel at a time. You're going to bend your right knee and lift your right heel up. Bend your left knee, but see if you can keep your left heel down. And once you find that you can't go any further into that, I say climb up. Bring your left hand onto your left knee, your right hand onto your right knee, and look over your right shoulder. Straighten your left arm and bend your right elbow. You'll find it's almost like you just heard someone behind you. All right. Inhale to face forward. See if you can keep your left knee bent. And pick your right foot up. Now we're thinking about two knees either together or on one line. Inhale your arms out. It's almost like Utkatasana in one leg. Ooh, very hard to do, even for me. And even for me. Lots of things are hard for me, truly. Exhale to Samasthiti, stand in neutral. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All right, now you're gonna, see if I can get a little closer even. So you're going to lift your left heel up. It's the one further away from me. Bend your left knee. And start to bend your right knee and let your hips shift back. Try to keep your right heel on the ground. When you can't bend your knee anymore, right hand on the right knee, left hand on the left knee. Straighten your right elbow, bend your left elbow, twist to the left, look over your shoulder. Used to be a dance move that looked like this called the boogie woogie. Like halfway through one of the movements. Exhale to turn your rib cage forward. Keep shifting right back into your right heel and take your left leg to straight. You might squeeze your two knees together. Just try to keep them in one line. Take your upper body hard up as you sink your hips down and back, arms out or up. Take another couple breaths. Exhale. Samasthiti. Nice work. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Step or float your feet back. Bend your elbows lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, up dog or an alternative like Cobra Pose. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Take a big free inhale in. Open mouth, exhale, HA. One more time, inhale in. And open mouth, exhale. Ujjayi, inhale through your nose. Ujjayi, exhale out through your nose. Lie the gateway between your hands, inhale. And exhale, glide, slide, or struggle through to a seat. You might come down to hands and knees and cross your ankles. Pull the flesh out from underneath you. If you find that there's a lot of lower back slumpiness, it's pretty human. You could roll up your mat and sit on the edge of the back half of it. Sit on a block or a wedge. We're going to sit in Dandasana for a moment. So you could reach underneath. You might feel your ASIS, your, your sits bone is what a lot of people refer to this sort of bony heels of your pelvis. Just like the heel of your foot, there's the arch of the floor of your pelvis that comes forward from it, sort of trying to stand at the front of those heels. Now you can definitely bend your knees to do this. Notice that I have to shorten my psoas, the front of my pelvis, to pull my spine tall. Roll your shoulders down and tuck your chin a little. Not so much that you come forward, just enough that there's counterbalance to the two things. You could have light touch with your hands on the earth. Roll your shoulders down your back. Whether knees are bent or straight, active legs, ankles flexed. Breathe. And take another inhale. And on your exhale, bend your right knee. Slide it out to the right. Turn your right thigh out. So I'm doing this. And roll to the outside edge of your right hip. And you might bring your arms over to the right and bend your left knee. You can come into this shape and fold over your right leg. And also plop a cushion underneath your left hip. You're welcome to scoot your leg all the way behind and come into the pigeon pose. You might bring your right heel in close to your left groin. Keep your right knee out to the right, wider than your shoulder. Whether or not your shin comes up towards the parallel seam of your front mat is less pertinent, right? Only if you're already feeling all the stretch sort of dissipate and you need more pressure or compression. Most of us, the IT band will let us know. You can come to fold forward and down. Some folks will stay upright and backward bend or twist. I always think about, over the years of teaching, students will tell me, sometimes it's about my class, but usually it's the great gift of some wonderful teacher who had them learn or enter some posture that was really difficult for them, but this new way or this new variation felt special, particularly for them, felt good. And I want to say that since I don't get to stand in a room with you and know what those stories are, that if we come across a posture and there's something like that that feels that way for you, right, definitely go ahead, right, and do it. Right? The likelihood is that it will still fit into whatever we're doing, and certainly fit into your intended practice as you discern what is best for you. Right? That sovereignty is often more important than any sort of choreography I might have planned. All right, roll your way up to a tall spine if you fold it down. Roll to the outside edge of your right hip, and you're going to start to roll to the inside edge of your left foot. So we're turning out with the left leg, and you can use your hands to press yourself up and over. And you might find that your two legs are out wide. And we're going to turn to the left already. So go ahead and bend your left knee and rotate around to whatever form of half pigeon you did on the other side, or whatever feels appropriate here. You might come forward or down to the hands or forearms. Hang your head whenever you can. It's often a bit hard for me as I talk into this microphone to find good sound for you without lifting my head up. And if I could exemplify posture, often you would see the dangling of the skull. And consider that sometimes what we feel is stretch, sometimes it's compression. And as the tissue of the body changes based on the pressures that we place on it, based on gravity and time, based on breath and experience, right? That you're just seeking to pay attention to how things are. From a bodily perspective, we're often seeking liberation right at the edges where things are tight, but you don't have to push up into the edge. Right? You're just seeking out where change can happen, what kind of containers we need to place, where we need to work. And slowly press yourself up. Roll to the outside edge of your left hip and bring your right leg around. And take two legs out long again. Sit up in Dandasana, and this time Pashimottanasana. Take two peace sign fingers around your big toes, or you can wrap a strap around your feet and bend your knees. Inhale and roll your heart, and exhale, fold and breathe. Inhale and roll your heart. Exhale, release. You're going to lean back and grab behind the backs of your knees and bend your knees to drag them up. Let your toes rest. That's my dog. Lift your heart up. You can have heels down if your feet start to get crampy, but the idea is just to have a very light touch. Even as you lean back, keep bringing your heart forward and up, and tilting the whole shape back as you go. Take your arms out or up. Breathe. You might lift your feet off the ground to just hover. You might draw your knees together or apart. And exhale to straighten your legs out. All right, and again, bend your right knee out to the right. Roll to the outside edge of your hip and send your leg back. Right, now this time, as you send your leg back and around, you might pause in this unfolded version of the pose, an upright body. And use your hands in front of you, maybe tent to your fingertips to press back. If you like, you could curl your back toes under and press the ball of the foot down like we did in those Hanumanasanas, the splitting poses. And Hanuman is a character featured god from the Ramayana, friendship and benevolence, goodwill. If it's for you to reach back for your foot, it's okay to You might fold forward and down. You might twist. Some folks will stay upright to backward bend. Sometimes there's foot grabbing involved in that too. And slowly begin to rotate to the inside edge of your left foot and turn. Take 2 legs out wide for the wide-footed fold. You can stay upright with your hands behind you. Rotate your pelvis forward. Rotate your inner thighs up and out. You might slide forward or your hands down your legs to fold forward and down. Walk your hands in to rotate yourself up. And again, you might fold your left knee and just go ahead and turn it in. And as you rotate, and you're turning to the inside edge of your right leg, you might have to lift yourself up and over. You might have to enter a totally different way, which would also be fine. As you draw yourself up, you might find the same variation that you did on the opposite side, but it could be something totally different. I showed some examples, ideas. I think that often we want to know the anatomical function. It's important also to think about the mudra or gesture of the pose, in which case, right, the proudness of the chest, right, the proud bird of peace, the pigeon, right, that we're, or the dove that we're emblemizing. You might think about the mudra or the gesture, what it means to show up in that way, to express the emotive idea in the body. Release the hands and roll to the outside edge of your left hip and bring your right leg around. This time bring the soles of your feet together for Badakanasana. You can roll them open, inhale to unroll your heart, and exhale, fold and breathe. Inhale to unroll your heart, and exhale right there. Right, we're going to do that same boat pose action, but with this sort of external clam kind of shape. Right? You can keep your knees together if you prefer. Do any sort of classic abdominal strengthener, including like plank, etc. if you prefer. Otherwise, the soles of your feet down, do it facing you, turn out, hi boo boo. And then as we lean back, you can keep your feet down or you can lift them up. The heels are together. I have my feet wide, my ankles flexed. Take your arms out or up or forward. And you're welcome to play around with going back and forth from straightening your legs to drawing them into this bent frog shape. You can also do all this with your elbows down and back or propped up on something. Even back on your arms if that feels good in your shoulders. Breathing. About 5 more breaths. Put your feet down. Inhale to lift your heart up and exhale, press through your feet, straighten your legs, bring them together and slowly roll down onto your back. All right. So I'm going to sort of turn my back to you to show this thing we're going to do. We're just going to do bow pose on our sides. We do a lot of these back bends from different perspectives, and I always just want to give you that point of view. If you feel like you can't get at something from standing or from pulling your leg from behind you, etc., you might be able to do it on your side. So take your right foot and bend your right knee. We're going to roll to the outside edge of the left side of the body. Now you can take your left hand, that's the bottom one, and bring the elbow out and hold your head in your hand if you like, or bring the palm down to the earth. I like to roll a little further forward on my left thigh, the front of my left thigh and hip, and then you might feel your right leg get light. From here, you might be able to reach back and grab for your foot. That might give you some stability to start to kick back. Now, usually what happens is we start to tilt back, right? Like the foot could land onto the ground. And so the more that you can roll onto your left armpit there, the more you can roll towards sort of the front of your leg, the better. You might curl the toes under in that left leg and put the ball of your foot down. Now, as you kick up and back, you might end up rolling back over, right? And that's totally okay. As you kick back in this way, your foot might come to the ground. You could hold your ankle. And we're doing the same kind of business, extending through the front seam of the body. And hang your head or look up and back. All right, now the tricky part of this, I'm going to be taking the right foot, releasing it so that it comes to the floor, and roll towards that right side. Now we're going to do the other side from this perspective too. So bend through your left leg. See if you can turn it out. And take your left arm out to the left and grab for your foot perhaps. You can hold either side as you roll to the outside edge of your left side body. Right, now your right leg can be a lot of places. You might put it on the ground in front of your left knee, bring your heel to the earth. My right hand is on the ground, pressing down. And again, you might kick into your hand. Some of these sort of twisted things, we just feel a lot in one acute point, like the knee or the lower back. And that's true, back away a little bit. Roll onto the front of your body to take your left arm straight up under your left ear. Roll onto your back. One more time. All right, we'll do both sides, rolling onto the right side. So bend your left knee, bring your left foot onto the ground. Roll onto the outside edge of your right body. Right, so you could have your hand here, you take your arm out. I think it's a little easier here myself. And see, this leg has to kind of press down, bottom leg into the ground. From here, you could bend through your top knee and grab for your foot. I have to kind of like roll forward, right? So that I have something to leverage up and back from, kick into your leg. Right, and then of course we fall backwards, right? That's the counterbalance that we're trying to find. And so again, you might roll so far forward to the front of this foot, you can curl the toes and put it down. Think more about kicking up than kicking back behind you to the right. Good, and then this is what I'm talking about here. Put the sole of your foot down, bend the opposite knee. And then from here, you might have to kind of settle down to grab for your foot, reaching back and kicking. Snoodling your right arm underneath you. Some people will do this version wrapped around sideways. And that might feel good for you too, a twist. Right, so I got my left hand on my right foot there. All right, I'm gonna follow this. Release and slowly roll back to the front. If you need to release your arm, take your right arm out and down. Front of you under your right ear and roll onto the back of your body. All right, bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. If you feel like you need to twist, etc., feel free to do any twisting work that feels good for you, any finishing work that you like. You can take your legs up the imaginary wall, feeling your pelvis press down, trying to figure out where is the plumb line and what your pelvis needs to do to be tilted or tucked, how much of your lower back might be on the ground. Some people, it's like a tiny little critter could crawl under there. Some of us really have to tuck and press down through the navel. If you're close to an actual wall, etc., you might take your legs up it, wrap your feet over the top of a bed, etc. You could also choose here to come up and over into Plow Pose. Get your hips in your hands. Now in Plow Pose, just like a gardener's plow, we're trying to lift the hips up so that there's a nice downhill from the tail to the heels down the back of the legs. Use your hands on your hips just like that forward folded position with your pinkies in and your thumbs out. If this is a lot in your chin or your neck, certainly come out of it. I've given tutorials before, but if you come up onto your shoulders, put a bolster underneath or a couple of pillows, let your head hang to the floor off the edge, especially if your cervical neck spine feels tender in the shape. This might give you more room. And I just want to say you can stay in this shape, but if you want an alternative, this shape, Urdhvasana that we already did, right, is a very similar action to what you are doing flipped on the back. So that might be an option, an alternative as well. Slowly roll down onto your back, dig your legs out long. If you need to squeeze your knees in or do one more twist or take one more back bend, always feel free to do those things. Take your time to wind down. And since you have the ability to pause the video, always feel free to do that kind of thing. Make as much space and time for yourself as you plausibly can. As you allow yourself to come to rest, you might pick a spot with your eyes to see if that's soothing, or close your eyes down. You could bring your hands to rest on your body or flip them up. You can lay on your side or your belly as well. Let's choose to be in a seat. Sometimes laying on the back is uncomfortable or even just creates a sense of vulnerability that doesn't serve us. Today I'll suggest that you feel whatever part of your body touches the ground or makes contact with gravity. Notice that without having to manage, there's arches and curves that spring themselves up and away from those spaces of foundation. See if you can let your bones pull you down. Without managing your breath, let your ujjayi breath soften into natural and voluntary breathing, even if at first it's a little disorganized or choppy. We'll rest in this way for a few minutes, and it's time to come up and out. I'll call you up and out. Till then, practice paying attention to how things are. Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai, tejasti navaditamastu, mavet vashavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As if from a great distance, consider your return. If you need more time to lie and rest or sit in meditation, take that time. The time has come to return. Slowly go to your breath and ask it to deepen just enough that you can start to return towards wakeful awareness. Ride that breath into soft movement, maybe in tongue running over your teeth, or your fingers wiggling, your toes stretching. You roll your ankles and wrists. If you're lying on your back, you might really take your time to slowly, gently stretch out or up before gathering your knees into your chest, rolling onto your favorite side, and again taking a few breaths there to make sure your head and neck are loose before eventually working your way to a seat. That's a traditional closing chant in the lineage of Krishnamacharya from the south of India. It's about learning together. It means, may we together as we learn be protected. May we together know joy. May our work together for the liberation of all be brilliant. May our work seek to contribute to the happiness and liberation of all beings everywhere inside of this context of universality, non-dualism, and peace. As you slowly rise to seat, I ask that you take time for perspective, that we can do this yoga practice because of whoever they were, the Vedic scientists, magicians, practitioners who came before, whatever names we call them, Patanjali, so many others that I could mention in this moment, but from the south of India, this practice emerges, and that we have great privilege to practice it, to be able to access it through video, through communities, through teachers of different kinds and types. Thank you for letting me be a part of your practice. You might consider the communities that support you, the resources at your behest, the obstacles, difficulties, and oppressions that keep you from your practice, and take the time to practice gratitude for yourself for showing up to do that work, to turn towards what is with peace, grace, kindness, compassion, reflection, openness, maybe joy. If you'd like, you could fold your hands in the Ujjayi Mudra, the prayer position, acknowledging non-dualism, the idea that things that seem disparate or opposite have a place where they meet, become one. Thank you for your time, your energy, your effort. You might bring your thumbs to the third eye center and bow to yourself, acknowledging your practice. Bow to the lineage of the practitioners who have come before. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your work. Again, my name is Alyssa. I use they, them pronouns, and you can find more information about me at alyssayeagleyyoga.com. Pretty sure that might update sometime soon, so I apologize if I'm sending you on a goose chase. You might look for a newer video if that's if that seems true. The YouTube channel is here for you. If you're accessing through the website already, know that the YouTube channel has a few more videos if you're looking for things. If you're looking for me or questions or concerns, the contact info is there at the website. Feel free to reach out. 50% of the proceeds for this and all of the other offerings here go to the Marsha P. Johnson Institute. I'm here for you. If you have feedback, let me know. Otherwise, I wish you well, and hopefully the sun will shine on your face. Maybe the moon will too, that reflective moonlight. And maybe we will get the opportunity to practice together again soon. Thank you.